Hello everybody, it's Wendy, and today we are going to make a necklace using these beautiful howlite focal beads. So I got these from Michael's. Let me just say, I did a Michael's haul. I have a video on it. It was a Black Friday sale, and I bought a bunch of stuff because their beads were 70% off. And as far as I know, guys, they still are. So it's a super good deal. But I spent as much money as I was going to spend, and I'm like, okay, I'm done. I'm not spending any more money on beads at all. Well, then Michaels sends me a $10 bonus thing. Like, you earn $10 and it's free money. And I'm like, oh, well, I can't waste $10. So I get back on Michael's website, and I decided, because I got some gunmetal Coreana chain. Oh, I'm so excited about this. So this is up on my website now. I've never seen gunmetal before. I've always had platinum, gold, and rose gold. So this is gunmetal, and I thought, how pretty would it be? I wear a lot of black and white. Now, I don't work with a lot of gunmetal. I don't have a lot of gunmetal, but I wear a ton of black and white, and I thought it would be really pretty to get some white howlite to use with this gunmetal. So that's why I went on. Well, it's not why. Why is because Michael's lured me in with, hey, you've got $10. But I went ahead and used it for this. So I got these howlite beads. Now, these are normally like $12.99 or something, and they were marked way down. They're 70% off. And then I got these howlite beads to go with it. So if you can see, they've got the gray in there just sprinkled throughout. Here's some of it. Whoops. Here's some of it up at the top. So I've pulled out, I got 2 strands of those. So I've pulled out some of those. And then they had these shell beads, and I thought these were so pretty. Look how gorgeous. So I'm going to use some of those on there. And then from my Michael's haul before, I had got these spacers. This is not dirt on my hand. It is grease. I took apart my, here's some too. I took apart my pasta machine that broke and to salvage for some parts. And I can't get this off. I washed and washed, but it's grease from the pasta machine and it just won't come off of my hand. So I'm sorry. But anyway, these spacers are gunmetal. So I'm going to use some of those. So I've got the chain, and I don't want this to be a super long necklace. So let me see how much chain I've got here, how much I've measured out. So I've got about 23 inches of this chain. And then I've got two of these, shoot, what are these things called? Clamshells, daggone. 2 clamshell covers and some little silver crimp beads. Now, I don't have any gunmetal crimp beads, so I'm just going to have to use the bright silver and hope that it's okay, and I think it will be. So, I love this, but I'm not going to use all of this. I'm going to use one. And I was trying to decide which one that I liked best out of these. I really like this one. I just like the pattern it has on it, but I like this one too because this has a lot of the, I really like this one. I think I'm going to go with it. Okay. So, get your stuff together. If you want to do this, you'll need some, you can use tiger tail if you don't have Coreana chain, but this is up on my website right now, and I only got one thing of it, so it's probably going to go kind of fast. So if you're interested in gunmetal Coreana chain, you might want to get on there and get it, because I was only able to get, they only had one thing of it. And so just get your beads together. Obviously, you don't have to use the exact same. These came with these. They were with these. They were spacers in with this. You don't have to use the same things that I'm using, but you can if you want to. So Michael's still has, I think that they're still on sale today. They were yesterday, because that's when I ordered these, and I just ordered them for the in-store pickup. They pull them for you, or curbside pickup. You just drive up and park and text them, and they bring them right out. It's like spoiled America right now. So anyway, okay, so I'm going to put this trapezoid bead on here, and it's going to be my focal, and then I'm going to do a floating kind of thing. I know I want to put these 2 gunmetal beads next, so I'm going to put this one on here, and I'm going to stick this one on the other side right here. Now I know I want those to be my middle. So what I want to do is I want to find the middle of my chain. So I'm going to put my 2 ends up, put this down and make sure that I've got these right in the middle. And then I'm actually going to take crimp beads and crimp this down because I want it to stay right in the middle. Now I'm not using crimp bead covers, and I'm not going to worry about crimping them with crimping pliers because I don't think they make it look any better anyway. I'm just going to put it on like this and smash it down. And that's it. That's all I'm going to do. It's nothing special. So I'm taking my pliers. I'm going to smash that little crimp bead. Okay. And he's just going to go right there, and then we'll do the other side. Now, you don't want to do this super tight. That's the thing with crimp beads and Coreana chain. You do not want to crimp it to where it stresses things out. Like, let me show you. So I could put this down like this. I could be like, I'm going to crimp this super tight so there's no movement in here. And then you're going to have just like this stiff piece that's going to lay weird. So you don't have to have, I mean, you definitely don't want too much movement, but you want it to not be so taut that it sticks out and lays weird. So I leave just a teeny, and I've got fuzz from my, I leave just a tiny bit of room, just maybe a millimeter in there, and just crimp it down. And that way, it's going to lay and not be like poked out like this, okay? That's just my own personal preference. You guys do what you want, but that's the way I found that it works. I'm going to crimp this one, make sure these are crimped tightly down. Pull on it, you know, just make sure that everything's solid there. Okay, now I'm going to make a floating design. So I just have to kind of decide what I want to do. I don't want to put these beads on right next these, because I want to just kind of spread out that they match this so well. I want to spread them out up here. So I think I want to put a shell bead on next, and I think I want to layer several of these little spacers. So let's see how this looks. Well, actually I need to put my next crimp bead on, so let me do that. I'm going to decide kind of where I want to go with it, where I want my next little section to start. I'm going to throw this crimp bead on here, just like this, and I think right about there, I'm just eyeballing it. That's just kind of where I think I want my next section to start. I don't want it to be so down close to my focal, but I want it to be, I think I'm going to go right there. Okay, now I'm going to do the same on the other side. I'm sorry I keep hitting the camera. I actually asked for a floor tripod for Chris, for Christmas from Chris. He's like, what do you want? I'm like, a floor tripod. He said, a what? A floor tripod? What? I'm like, yeah, I keep bumping. I mean, my camera, I'm just constantly hitting it. Every time I'm videoing, it's just in the way. Okay, so I'm just going to even this one with the other one. I'm just eyeballing it. And you can measure if you're one of those measury people. Go right ahead and do it, but I'm not. So I just eyeball it, put it on. Okay, now I'm going to layer like 5 or 6 of these. So let's look at this. So they're kind of curved, if you can see. Sorry, you can't see if I'm off screen. Kind of curved. So I'm going to layer one down. Excuse me, my allergies. I'm going to layer one up. Yeah, I like the way those look like that. Okay, so I'm going to do them back and forth. Down, up, down, up. So this one's down. And then up. And then we'll look at it and see. That's a cute little, I like that. So I'm going to put my shell bead on here. And please, Lord Jesus, thank you. I was so worried they're not going to fit on this chain. They're so pretty. So there's that. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I always go back and forth, side to side, just because I think that it keeps you from making mistakes as much. It does me anyway. So I'm layering these the same way, one facing down, one facing up, and I've got 4 of them, just like on the other side. Okay, there they are. And then I'm going to put on my shell bead. Okay, there we go. down on there now, shell bead. Don't be like that. Okay. Now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put 4 more of these spacers just the same way. Down, up, down, up. And they had these spacers at Michael's in different colors. I ended up getting them in, I think, gold and this gunmetal and maybe silver. I think I had 3 colors. I didn't even know when I got this gunmetal that I'd be using them for this, but I thought they were really cool. They're just a little square, but they're kind of bent, so you can layer and get this really cool look. Same thing on the other side here. So we'll go down, up, down, and up. Okay. So there that is. Oh, I like it. I like the way those look. That's really cool. Now, do I want to do another bead and do I want to do another shell bead and spacers again? Like make it a little bit longer of a set, or do I want to come up and do something different? Let's look. Let's try a shell bead, another shell bead, and just see what it looks like. I kind of like it. See, this is how I design. I just kind of fly by. I mean, I have a general idea of what I want to do, but then it can definitely change in the process. Okay, I think I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do 4 more just like I did there a minute ago. I really like these shell beads, so I kind of want to have several of them on here. Oops. Layer this one down, and this one up. Okay, there we go. Same thing over here. And up. Alright, so now we've got this little section on both sides, and I like that a lot. Okay, so now I'm going to do another crimp bead just to hold them in place. That's a big one. And again, you know, don't make it too tight. Just kind of give them a little room for movement. So what I do is I just let gravity do the work. I hold it up there, and then I will grab the crimp bead and slightly scoot it up and then crimp it. Same thing on the other side. Okay. Scoot it slightly up, crimp it down. There we go. Wow, I like this. This is pretty cool. Okay, now I want to decide I'm going to go up a little bit further, and I want to keep it about the same length as this one right here. So again, I'm just going to eyeball it. I'm not really going to measure. I'm just not that precise of a person when it comes to this stuff. But you can if you want to. Okay, so I'm just going to eyeball it. And that looks about even to me from the bottom one. Just crimp it right down. Okay, perfect. Now I'm going to do this side. And just make sure that they're close to even. This one looks pretty close. Looks good. Crimp him down. Okay, so now I have to decide what I want to do for my next section. And I know I want to use these highlight beads. And I think I want to use this bead. These beads came in with the focals. So I think I'm going to do that spacer bead, the howlite bead, and another of these spacer beads. Just like that. And I think I might just leave it at that. It's kind of pretty, just simple. So we'll do spacer bead. And I picked out these howlite beads that have the most gray on them because they match this focal pretty well. Okay, and then this gunmetal spacer bead. Yeah, I like the way that looks. So I'm going to do a couple more crimps. Oops. I don't wear a lot of my own jewelry. I don't think to put it on. I don't know. I'm kind of weird that way, but I decided that I wear a ton of black and white, or black anyway, and I thought this howlite was so pretty. So I was like, I'm going to make myself a necklace out of this. I really like it. And I got some white lava beads that I thought I was going to use with it, but I don't know. They just didn't end up really looking right with it. They were kind of more of a cream shade, and I didn't realize that. But, okay, so there's our next section. Now, I think I'm going to repeat this maybe in some form, this first little section. So let's come up and crimp 2 more, one on either side, get it about the same, length apart as the other ones that we've done. Come on now. If you're hearing noise, I have no idea what Chris is doing. He's down there. Sounds like he's got the saw in the house and cutting something up. I don't know. I'm almost afraid to go look. But yeah, sorry for that noise if you could hear it. We're having company in just a little bit, so after I do this tutorial, I've got to get off of here and go vacuum and make sure the bathrooms are decent, that kind of thing. But I really wanted to do this tutorial today. I was so excited about this gunmetal chain. I just thought it was so cool. Okay, and I'm not even a big fan of gunmetal normally, but yeah, I was like, oh wow, that's really neat. Okay, so let's pull that up. And a lot of people have told me, like, somebody told me that they've seen it in red copper. Somebody else said they've seen it in antique bronze. And I've looked and looked and looked and cannot find Coreana chain in those. Now, there is some other chain called serpentine chain. And I don't know if that's what they're seeing, but it's not the same. It is definitely not as small. This Coreana chain is 0.6 millimeters. So it will fit tinier beads, and that serpentine chain won't. So I don't know if that's what people are seeing and thinking that it's Coreana, because it does look similar, but you got to be careful if you want this to be able to fit your small beads. That serpentine chain won't work. So I've not been able to find the Coreana in those colors. I wish I could. Would love to. Okay, so here I think I'm going to do the shell bead, and then, oh gosh, I'm so sorry, the shell bead, and then the howlite bead, and then the shell bead again, and the set of these, the 4, with the down, up, down pattern. Yeah, I like that. Down and up. Alright, that looks pretty good. I like it. So we're going to leave it at that, and I'm going to crimp it. Okay. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I've already set my marker for where I want my beads to go. So I'm going to go down, then this one facing up, this one facing down, this one facing up, whoops. Okay, and then a shell bead, the howlite bead, Again, I'm trying to pick out the ones with a lot of gray on them. And another shell bead. And our last set of spacers. Now after I do this set of spacers and crimp them, I'm going to hold this up to me and see where it falls, because I don't want this to be real long. I want this to be kind of not a choker, but short. Oh my, he doesn't want to go on there. There you go. Come on, you want to be famous and be on YouTube and be in a necklace, don't you? He doesn't care. This one doesn't either. Okay. Alright, so there we go. Now I'm going to crimp this, and I'm running out of crimp beads. I have to pull out a few more. This one doesn't want to go on either. They're all being difficult now. They've all decided that they want to stay in their little storage cases and not be out in the real working world. Okay. Alright, there we go. So that's what we've got. Now let me hold this up and just see where it falls on me. Yeah. Okay, so I think that that's all I'm going to do. And that's the good thing about this Coreana chain. It's beautiful. Like, this is pretty when it's showing, and you don't have to worry about, like, tiger tail is not pretty if it shows. But the Coreana chain really is, and so I think that I'm going to leave it at this. So let me grab a couple more crimps because I'm running out. I'm going to use some kind of big ones because I noticed that these gunmetal clamshells have really big holes there, and I don't know why. I don't have any of those on my site right now, but I have some in my cart to order to put up on my site, but I don't have them yet. Alright, so I'm going to put the clamshell on. We're going to finish it off now. I'm going to put the clamshell on, and then I'm going to put the crimp bead on. Now this is kind of a big crimp bead. I don't usually use this big on the Coreana chain, but I want it to, obviously I don't want the lobster to come off, so, or slip past it, so I thought I better get a big one. Now crimp it down really good because it's big and you don't want it to slide. So I go in and do the edges like this on both sides of the chain on the bead. Okay, now let's test this. Yeah, it looks like it's gonna stay. Okay, I'm gonna close it up just like that, and it feels sturdy, so I think it's good. Same thing on the other side. Clamshell, crimp bead. Oh, and I meant to tell you, you need a clasp. I didn't even pull out. I'm going to use a lobster, but I didn't get that out, unfortunately. I guess I completely forgot about needing a clasp. That's kind of important. Okay, and we'll scoot this clamshell up. Okay, and close it. Alright, so that's good. Now, and jump rings. You're going to need jump rings too. I'm sorry, guys. I thoroughly neglected to get out everything I needed, didn't I? Okay, so, let me look at my jump rings here and see what I've got. I like to use a fairly good size one for the lobster to clasp onto. Now, here's a gunmetal one that I'm going to use to put the lobster on with. But let me see if I have any bigger ones in gunmetal. This one is kind of cool. This is a twisted jump ring. I wonder if this will fit in the clamshell. Wow, they're very stiff. I've had trouble with these not fitting through here. Yeah, it just won't go through there. That would have been pretty for the clasp, but obviously not gonna work. Okay, so let me see. Okay, well, I don't really have anything pretty to use, so I'm just going to use a silver ring. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm just going to use a plain old silver jump ring because I don't have anything pretty. So, there we go. That'll work. Alright, so let me grab the lobster. That's important too. And I have all my lobsters stored in this. Isn't this pretty? Beth sent this to me, and I love it. She sent me this one and a couple others, or a blue one. And I think there was a yellow one, but it got broken in the transit, poor thing. But I love this. There's a gunmetal lobster. I think these are so pretty. And I have my lobster, all the lobster claws in one. And then my other one has rhinestone rondelles in it. And I have them sitting right here on my desk beside me. I'm going to do an updated craft room tour here in a few days. I've changed everything around. Alright, so we're just going to put the big ring on here. Now, I'm not going to put an extender on here because this is for me. And I know, I mean, I measured it on myself, so I know where I want it to hang. But if you are going to sell it or give it or whatever, you might want to put an extender on it just to make sure that people have options. Let's put the lobster claw clasp on there. And there we have it. Such a cute little, oh, I love it. I love the way this turned out. So I'm going to put it on a form. I think I'm going to do a pair of earrings for this. I'll probably do them in another video though, because I don't have the stuff out here and I don't even know how I'm going to do them. But I probably will do a pair of earrings because the only thing I have is silver, and it'll need to be gunmetal to match this. So let me put this on a form and I'll show it to you. Okay, so don't mind my messy desk back there, but there it is, and I love it. I love the way this turned out. Yeah, really, really happy with it. So the Coreana chain is just so sleek and pretty, and I love it with the contrast of that white howlite. So if you're interested in the Coreana chain, I will put a link to my website. I'm out of the bright silver right now. I'm expecting some more in, but I do have the antique silver, the gold, the rose gold, and this gunmetal now. So yeah, and a lot of other cool stuff. So anyway, you guys have a great rest of the day. I'm going to go get the house clean because we have company coming, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.